Welcome everyone. Sorry, it's been a week or two since we've done a tech huddle, but we've got a really good one today. You can see Tony with Lightest Touch on. Tony's coming to us from Wisconsin. What part of Wisconsin are you from?
Eau Claire area.
Eau Claire? Okay. I've been talking with Tony ever since October of last year when I did a tech fest in Wisconsin. He was there and we met, and I love what they've put together and excited to see it. I've seen it a couple times, but every time I see it, I find out something new that he's doing. So excited for Tony to do this. Just a reminder for those of you that are joining as attendees, if this is the first one tech huddle that you've ever been on, these are really quick 30-minute overviews and demos of various different kinds of tech to support people with disabilities and innovations that are out there. As you join, you're going to be on mute, but we do want these to be as interactive as possible. So even though you're on mute, if you go to the very bottom of the Zoom window, there's a little bubble that says chat. If you want to pop that open, that would be the way that you can interact with us and with the other attendees. As Tony is talking through Lightest Touch, throw your questions in there. I'm going to keep an eye on that for Tony, and we'll get your questions into him. So thank you all for joining, and we're still a few minutes out, so we'll give everybody some time to join. And a couple of things that we're doing at Disability Cocoon, just to kind of give a selfless plug, I guess. This Thursday, we actually have a workshop coming up. So workshops are very similar to tech huddles, but they are much more in-depth, and we really dive into a specific type of technology or specific application of technology in a person's life. This one is going to be about apps that are out there and available, and how to look for apps, and to kind of give you a glimpse into 30+ apps that are out there. So we've partnered with Bridging Apps out of Easter Seals Greater Houston area. So this Thursday is going to be a pretty cool one. I think it's like 5 hours, 30+ apps that are going to be reviewed. We've got some app developers coming on and some really cool things. So just go to disabilitycocoon.com and you'll see that down in the workshop area. People usually join these right about 12:01, 12:02. So
yep. I liked your last newsletter. That was very informative about the Israeli projects.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I am doing my best to find an excuse to go there because I've never been, and just as a tourist, I'd like to go. So I'm actually talking to John Poland, the founder of that Inlet company that I wrote about in a week, to discuss possibly doing a tech fest in Israel and then broadcasting it so that people in the States could attend an event abroad. So, or they can come to Israel whenever they want to do. I'm going.
Yeah, my dad went there. He loved the trip. He said it was amazing.
Yeah, I've never been. I've been to Canada and Mexico, but never outside of North America. So it's about time.
We went to Italy a couple of years ago, and because my mother's her parents are from Italy, so we went there. That was an amazing trip. I'm really glad we went.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we are having a few more people join. Welcome to today's Tech Huddle. You can kind of hear me just doing my usual thing and filling the air with the logistics, but also kind of chatting with Tony here. Tony's going to be our presenter today from Lightest Touch. They're just launching, based out of Wisconsin, the Eau Claire area, he was saying. So excited to have Tony on. If this is your first Tech Huddle, welcome. These are pretty informal, as you can kind of tell, where we just try to bring on a new solution every single week so that you all can get a glimpse at something very quickly over your lunch hour-ish, and find something new that you might be able to use in your day-to-day activities and supporting people with disabilities. So with that, I am showing we probably will still have a lot of people joining, but looks like our list is filling up pretty quickly. If for those of you that are on, I do this every week just to kind of start the conversation in the chat. Just in the chat down at the very bottom of the Zoom window, just type in the state that you're from, just so we can kind of get a sense on where people are coming from. And then use that chat if you have any questions for Tony as he's presenting. So, and it looks like we do have some chat coming in. Thank you, Paul from Kansas. Kelly from near Eau Claire, Wisconsin. You've got a couple people in your backyard there. Good. Ohio, great. All right. Well, welcome everyone. And I'm going to stop filling air now. Tony, I will turn it over to you to tell us about Lightest Touch.
Perfect. All right, let me share my screen here. Let's see. All right, let's start off with Lightest Touch is really the goal of this is we're trying to pull the self-directed cares into a landscape that they can be successful. What we're finding a lot of times is there's a push to move people into self-directed, but once they get there, they don't know how to access everything they need to. So what we've done is we've had two companies, KDI, which is who I work for. We have almost 50 years of experience in Wisconsin. We're members and we have membership, and also we're board members on multiple organizations, including the Governor's Task Force. We have WIPSA, we have Alliance, there's a lot of organizations that our team actually sits on and helps drive what we're doing in Wisconsin. We've teamed up, KDI has teamed up with JAT Software. JAT Software they're the experts when it comes to IT, hardware and software. So we've worked together with them to create Lightest Touch. KDI is bringing the knowledge of what the industry needs, and JAT is bringing the software piece of it to be able to meet those expectations. So our goal, first of all, is to create a caregiver registry. So that way clients, people that are looking for cares, have some place to go to. We also want to have a provider agency that lists all the different providers that people can go to, and if they're looking for caregivers, fiscal agent, rep payees, whatever they're looking for. We also want them to have access to transportation, equipment. We're looking for a platform. And that's really what this is. It's a platform for people to be able to go to and find what they need in this industry. So what we first did was we created a small core team around the client. The client, we're saying, is you. They then have a larger expanded team, and that's what I want to go through with you guys here. So the client would have natural resources. The reason why we want to set this up is that if mom is in a different state or a different part of the state and they want to help the client with them finding what they need, they can actually they can have a separate login and go in and do searches on behalf of that person and then push those people out to that client saying, okay, mom, I know you're struggling. Let me go in, do some searches. I'll find a few people or resources or equipment or what you're needing, and I'm going to put it into your connected box, your approved list. Once it's there, then all you have to worry about is clicking on the approved list and calling that phone number or emailing that person. This provides them with that comfort for those people that are clients that really aren't tech savvy or simply are struggling to find what they want. Then after that, then we have home services. Home services would be people that understand the industry, but can also come over and help with putting tracks across the ceiling for Hoyers and be able to do lawn care, snow removal, but people that are in the industry that understand our clientele. Shopping services would be available for these people. Equipment, home monitoring equipment, health monitoring, medication dispensers, transportation, whether it be for appointments or work. These are things that we want the person to easily find. And so again, this is a platform. We're not selling any of these services. What we're doing is creating the platform so other companies can join in and be able to host basically their own product, their service on this platform. Professional services, support broker, rep payee, fiscal agent. The other part that we're doing here is we want an environment that if that client wants to have employment, they have a resource to go to. So we're going to have a list of companies that hire people with special needs. In addition to that, caregivers are going to look for employment. So we want to have a tool to be able for those caregivers to be able to find employment on their own if they want to do something more than what they're doing today. And then another critical piece is training. We want to make sure that there's a training element that caregivers can go to and continue to have a career path. We lose so many caregivers. One of the biggest problems in this industry is a caregiver crisis. We simply don't have enough caregivers. There's two reasons for that. One is that they're leaving the industry because of pay, or there's no career path, or we're underutilizing them because of the fact that they can't find other cares enough to make enough money to live off of. So we believe the software will greatly help those things. So that's the general platform. So how it works is, at the very top left, you can see that that JAT Industry supports the framework. They handle the upgrades, the bugs, any issues. They're basically building the software. They're networking with KDI. That's who I work for. And that's where the industry consultants that understand what the providers need and what the funding sources need. We work together and create Leidos Touch. Leidos Touch then is the platform that private pay clients can join, or when I say funding sources, those are things such as your managed care organizations and other sources that are paying it through, like a Medicaid reimbursement. So they would join, and then they would invite their clients. The difference between that and private pay would be they would be able to determine what their clients, they would be able to filter a little bit of what their clients be able to see. So if they have contracts with specific companies, they could say they only want their clients to see those specific companies when they do their searches. On the reverse side, you have independent providers / caregivers, and they would be able to join. So on the same concept, you have provider agencies that would be able to invite their providers. Give an example. There are a lot of times in our industry that they have a provider agency will have a caregiver that'll be in a remote area that they can only give them 10 to 15 hours a week. And they lose that person to some other job because they can't survive off 10, 15 hours a week. So by allowing them to be part of this network, they can search for other services that they could provide in their area and still work for that agency for that 10, 15 hours, but get another 15, 20, 30 hours on their own through this software. So once it's created, once there's an account created, the funding source helps set up the user account. The user account is set up, and the client or the provider will be able to go in and do their searches. They review the results, they see the comparison, they can do a background check, they can be able to do whatever interviews they want, and then once they approve them to their list, from that point on, they can either talk externally or internally with our own message system. We are not going to get involved in anybody's business. So if there's a business out there that's the provider is, let's say, transportation, all we're trying to do is connect that person who needs transportation to the provider that provides the transportation. We are not going to get involved in any of the passing of money or any of the scheduling, because everybody has their own tools. We're just trying to be that connection piece. So let's do a quick test drive here. All right. So when you first join in, this is going to be our dashboard. There's a couple pages that we're still working on this month. It's in beta test this month. We're looking at releasing it next month, but I just want to show you what it's going to look like. You're going to have basically a bar across there. This is also on an app, so you can pull this up on your phone and have the same concept. All the same tools. It might look a little bit different, but all the same information's on there. So you first get in, you see what kind of notifications you have from the last time you've been in here. Maybe somebody's reached out to you, they want to connect with you. If I'm a client, and you can see on the top left here, I'm a client working for Inclusa at this time, then what I could do is say, and I'm just say 500 miles so I can get a bigger range on the test data that I threw in there. And I'm gonna say, I'm looking for transportation. And it defaults your home address that you've already put in there. If I am looking for transportation in, let's say, Milwaukee, I could type Milwaukee in here and it would look for that, because I might be in Milwaukee for the next 2 to 3 weeks and I need transportation. So it's not going to lock you into your home address. It just starts you there. Do a quick search. Looks like Carepool has the best match with me, which is 77%. Some other people do as well. This is 77% is based upon all of the parameters that I've put into my personal profile. The training I'm looking for, the social activities, etc. A lot of these only apply to caregiving. So I may actually say I'm really just looking for schedule. If this person's whatever who comes up has the same schedule that I'm looking for, life is good. So I might go ahead and do an update, and I got 100% on 4 different options here. 1 is a company, 3 are individual people. I might decide to go with the caregiver or Carepool because I know it's a company, and see, yep, all of the ones that I need. I'm looking for afternoons, Monday through Friday. Sure enough, they can support it. 5 out of 5 that I was looking for. What's interesting also, though, is sometimes there's alerts, and let's see if I pull that up. I can come down here and say I want to see everything about that person, and I want to do an update. And I pull Zoe here, and everything looks good. Conditions, she understands one of the conditions that I have, which happens to be I'm allergic to cats. Social activities, 2 of the 2 social activities that I have. So it has a lot of in-depth information, what environment, what equipment I have. Why this plays a key point is not only for caregivers, but also for, let's say you're providing a service that has to do with specialized equipment. Then they may come in here and just look at, I'm really looking for equipment, and let's see if any of those apply. Right now, I do not have any equipment providers in there that meet my criteria. And it might have been like a Hoyer or something on that basis. But what that does for you is it allows you to also do the search on them, so that you could actually search for clients that need your services. So let's go back to care services. I'm a client, I'm looking for cares. Here's some opportunities for me. Let's say I pick this person here and I look down at any alerts. Sure enough, I'm allergic to cats and this person has a cat, so I may not want to go forward with this one. But then again, I might take they're not bringing the cat to my house, so it might not be an option, or it might not be an issue. Conditions, scheduling, they only have 1 out of the 5 days that times that I want, so it may not be good. If it was, I'd hit connect, and what that would do is it would send out a message to the other person that I want to connect with them. They could do a check on me before they do, and once they do a connection, then it would come out here and say, look, I've got this person here that I've already connected with, and these are other people that I've requested that are pending, that I've made requests that I'd like to do business with, but they haven't come back yet and say they want to do business with me.
Hey, Tony, real quick question.
You bet.
It looks like you've got a whole bunch of different areas and where people can search for things. One of the questions that came in, could they search for like an OT or behavior therapist or a typical primary care physician?
Yep. Yes, we're building all that in there. So we're starting off with, when you set up your profile, you can do as much or as little as you want. You can come in here and say for what you're looking for as far as services, and services could be professional services, consulting, dental. We're adding on to this list all the time. Shopping services, lawn care, equipment, home monitoring. So this list here allows them to specifically say what they want. At the same time, if I'm a provider, I'm going to change roles here on you. And now I'm a provider, which means I could be a caregiver or any other provider of services. Now, when I'm doing that, now what I'm saying is when I click on services, these are services I support. So if I'm good with doing gardening for somebody, then I can come in here and say I do gardening and I charge about $15 to $20 an hour. Professional services, I can come in here and click one of these as well. And again, if you have a service that's not on here, let me know and I can add on here. This is a beta test, so it doesn't have all of them. We may already have it on the long-term list when we go to production. But don't assume that. Send it to me and I'll add it. Make sure it's added.
This is amazing. How are you guys handling one of the other questions that came in, and you may be getting to it, so I apologize, but how are you handling HIPAA and the security of the information? So keep that part straight.
So obviously everything's encrypted. We've got the Jack company and Joe. I don't know if Joe's Rusky's on the line or not, but he is the one that really knows how all of that works. They've been working with Google and making sure that all the systems are HIPAA compliant. As far as the data, you can't get into anybody else's data until you actually approve them, this approved list. So these people here, let's do a quick connect. Let's see, caregivers. Oops. And once I click here, I can't see any of this person's background as far as their address, their phone number, any of that. Also, when you first get in, there is, of course, the terms and policies that you have to approve before you get in. We've gone through a lot of the HIPAA training. We understand it. We've been in this industry for 50 years. We know what can and can't get through. But if you see something that you're questioning, please let me know personally, and I'll make sure that it's addressed. I think we've got everything covered. You really have to be willing to give your information to somebody else, and that's not a HIPAA issue. It's just that we can't provide it. You have to provide it.
Can you talk a little bit? I'm sorry, go ahead, and I have a few more questions, but go ahead through your presentation. Go please. I'm sure you will probably get to them, but there are a few in the queue that we'll get to.
You bet. So after you find what you're looking for, you can go ahead and you can message these people. You can do some background checks on them. There's a approve list. There's a message system. Organizations, there'll be a monitoring tool. Organizations, let me go ahead and show you some of the organizations. And I'll go ahead and put my admin hat on here for a second. So you have, let's see, we have all these different organizations. Once you find the organization that your company that you want to do, you get a hold of me and I'll set up basically an organization for you. You then would go in and let's say Respite Care of Wisconsin, set them up. Then we would, and you would have the opportunity to make any changes you want in any of this data, your admin person. You would invite people. So here's, I invited 3 people, 2 of them showed up yesterday. The other person hasn't received hasn't accepted their invitation yet. So it's so you can provide as many accounts as you want for your organization. All I'm going to do is help you set up the page and make sure that everything's kosher to get going. As far as background checks, the way that it works is that if I'm a provider and I want to have a background check done. So let's say here's my provider role. I want to do my background checks, and I'm going to request a background check. These are the companies right now that's saying they're willing to do background checks. So if I say I want Inclusive to do a background check, looks like they're going to charge me $10, and I want a identity verification. I click on that, hit submit. What would happen is this is pending. And then once it'll automatically send them, their admin person, something that's pending. And once they get it and they then contact me, we go through the information. Once they're happy with it and they do the verification, this turns verified or denied, depending on how it comes back. That shows up on your searches. So the next step of what we're working on for your searches is in this top left corner will be a check mark or a caution sign based upon your background checks. If you have several background checks done, it'll be a check mark, green check mark, like life is good. If you don't have any background checks, it's going to have a caution sign saying this person does not have any verified background checks. We really want to make sure that we're as close, we're providing them the service that to let them know what's going on. Not everybody requires it. At the same time I say that, remember that chart that I showed that if a funding source wanted to limit what their clients can do, they can actually set it up so they only see people that have verified background checks. It protects their people. Joe, did you have something that you want to talk about as far as the HIPAA? This is Joe Ruskin. He's in charge of JAT software.
Hey, Tony. Hey, everybody. Yeah, just other than, as Tony said, we're working very closely with him in regards to HIPAA compliance, in regards to making sure we have a platform that's HIPAA compliant as well. We are working with Google Direct. Our platform is Kubernetes, which is a top of the line, state of the art platform that allows us to grow on the fly. So, you know, even if we pick up a large company that has 5,000 users, our systems are going to auto grow. We've got BAA agreements with Google. And then we also have opportunity and stuff as we go live. We're already looking into different HIPAA audits and things like that, and working with partnering companies that will come in and try to do attacks against us and our infrastructure and things like that, so that we're always making sure we're being very secure and that we're keeping our eyes on the safety of our customers. So yeah, other than that, it's a never ending. We're always keeping our eyes on it, and we're looking into it always.
Dustin, did you have some questions that you haven't asked yet?
We do. Yes. Who is paying for this? And I guess kind of a little bit, I guess probably we'll get into kind of the business model, right? Is it private pay? Is it a combination of the funding source paying for access? Is it, yeah.
So right now, JAT Software, Joe is paying for this, and he's investing into this opportunity because he feels that there truly is a need. And I absolutely agree. There is a need. We've been talking about this for 5 years. The industry needs to get rid of all these silos between all of the different funding sources and private pay. So he's funding it. The goal right now is to have all of the providers that are caregivers get in free. There's a caregiver crisis. We don't want any limitations to be able to prevent them from getting in unless there's issues with their background checks. Aside from that, we want them to get in for free. We want the provider agencies, such as people that provide home monitoring and transportation, we want them to be able to get in for free too, and provide them the service of being able to be part of our network. Now, the cost for them would be things such as, now if they want to do advertising, if they want to do opportunities where they're going to market themselves on this, that's different. But to be pulled up in a list, and when people do searches, we want that to be absolutely free for everybody. Now, where's the money coming from? The caregiver funding agencies is the one that's really paying for the software. They're going to join with, let's say, 400 people. Then they're going to pay so much per member per month for those members. So that way, that's part of their budget, and part of their budget is to be able to find caregivers and the services they want. And so that's why I've been working with the funding sources for over a year now on this.
So in your example of the MCO would pay the fee and then enroll a certain number of people that could have access.
Yep.
Or a provider agency that wants to utilize it, it's free for them, or they are paying for the number of people that they want to have access?
No, it's free for them, unless they want to also do, let's say they want to put job posts out there, and they're going to start doing that piece of it. So there'll be opportunities for providers to do more than just be a part of it, but also be engaged more where they're going to do job positions and advertising, that type of thing. That will be a cost service. But to be a part of the network and have your page available to find is free.
Wow.
Yeah, we really want to get everybody involved in this.
Yeah. So yeah, if for those of you that are out there, please start firing your questions off. I've got several, but I'll push pause on those.
So do you have any questions, or?
Looks like there's one. Is there a max number of people using it? And I'm assuming no is the answer to there's no max, right?
Yeah, Joe talked about the fact that it automatically scales.
Yeah. This is beautiful. I'd love to see the tech component of this. I mean, it's amazing that they can go find any service they want. Obviously, my passion is tech and kind of how you guys build out that network and things, and it's amazing. Love it.
Yeah, Joe's team's done a wonderful job in the fact that I can pull it right up on my phone and have all the same information and be able to. In fact, when people ask me when I'm out in the field what it looks like, I'll just put it up on my phone and let them play with it.
I'm assuming Apple and Android.
Yes. Yes, Apple and Android. And then also one thing that I want to add to what Tony said is, financially, yes, we're backing it. But from a reality, it's a partnership between Tony and us. And really what it is it's a marriage of I own technology company. And Tony has the expertise in the industry. I don't think this would have worked if either one of us tried to do this separately. So it brought us together and, we're always approaching it from a tech perspective. He's approaching it from a provider perspective and serving the clients. And so really that marriage is what made us strong. And quite honestly, we heard a lot of people talking about it for years. We haven't seen a product. We've seen a lot of PowerPoint, but nobody's got a live product like we currently have. So I think that's just because of the partnership.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. The UI is clean and simple, and yeah, it's great. So you guys are starting, you're in beta now, you said.
Yep.
Being based in Wisconsin, I'm assuming that beta project is occurring with probably an MCO that may or may not be on this right now.
Yeah. So we actually have 4 or 5 different MCOs that are starting right this week testing it. And so it's pretty exciting. So we're gonna let them test it for a month, give us feedback. I'm working with them every couple of days. We're emailing back and forth, Zoom meetings back and forth. And then by the end of this month, we should know if our final release date. This is getting really close. We're just putting in, like I said, you saw that first page with the dashboard. We got to build that. There's a few of those other pieces, but the functionality, that's done.
So I assume that your next place would be to kind of go look and, well, basically anywhere in the country, anybody could start using it, especially those states that have a self-directed waiver component would be great places to look at it. Do you envision people that are not self-directing using the platform?
They certainly can, and it'll work for them. Anybody that needs the services for people with challenges, whether it's mental or physical or whatever it is, it'll work for them. But understand, we're going to focus on self-directed because that's our core venue.
Sure.
But it doesn't prevent anybody else from being able to get on. And if they just they broke their leg and they're not going to be able to do anything for a few weeks and they need some services, sure, they could join and be able to find the services they want.
It's great. I mean, amazing. When you're ready, I want to throw a link on Disability Cocoon site, and we'll link directly to that the tech search part. And, that's beautiful.
Yep. So right now we're focusing on Wisconsin, but the goal is to expand it nationwide.
Amazing. Yeah, it's great what you guys have put together. Anybody else out there have questions for Joe or Tony? I did share a link to your website earlier. I'm assuming that there's contact information there where people can find you guys and get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just go to lightestouch.com and it'll give you the information to email me. And I'm usually the first point man for the contact.
I don't even want to know what that domain name cost you guys. I like it.
Oh, you think that's good? The other one that we got is selfdirectedcares.com.
Whoa, yeah, that's great.
I actually grabbed that one probably about 8 years ago or 10 years ago before it started getting popular. So I got lucky on that one.
Thinking ahead, huh? Yeah. But we did have just a comment come in, and I think that it kind of echoes the way that I'm feeling about it. It says amazing and can't wait for this to roll out nationwide. So great work, guys. I know the battle and the things that you guys have had to go through to get this pulled together, and I think it's going to be an amazing tool for our industry, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to have you guys on here today.
Thanks. Well, we appreciate the time, and anything that anybody can think of that may or not be on the software, let me know, and we'll see if we can add it in.
Great. All right, so y'all know how to get a hold of them. If you don't, just come to me at disabilitycocoon.com, and I'll get you in touch with them. So thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. And for those of you that are watching on the recording, it is lightesttouch.com is how you can find them. So
perfect.
Thanks, everyone.